According to the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis, personal income is on the rise, and labor statistics says that unemployment is low. So why are so many families still struggling? Why is buying a home a pipe dream for so many? Well, could it be that we're looking at the economy all wrong? In her new book, The Guarantee: Inside the Fight for America's Next Economy, author Natalie Foster asks us to imagine what we could be doing differently to help the many as opposed to the few. Natalie joins me now. Thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure.
So let's focus on the key word in the title of your book. What are the guarantees you think we should be working towards to create a better economy, and how can we reimagine that economy?
I think we should guarantee what we need to have a stable life of dignity in this country. I'm talking things like healthcare, housing, good work. You know, I talk to so many people who lay awake at night wondering how they're going to find elder care for their parents, or how they're going to pay the hospital bills after a cancer diagnosis. We are the richest nation on earth. We should not have to live this way. And so we should guarantee a floor so people can live lives of dignity.
This is such an important thing, because I think what your book points out as well is that the pandemic kind of taught us a few things. What did the pandemic teach us about how we can take better care of our society as a whole?
Well, in the pandemic, we had both a health crisis and an economic crisis. And unlike other economic crises of my lifetime, we invested in families, right? We passed the expanded child tax credit, which literally sent a check to every parent in this country to help raise their kids.
That helped me.
Me too. We made COVID care free. Right? We sent free tests via the Postal Service to every family in this country. We invested in families, and that's how it should be in the economy broadly as we enter into this age of AI.
And we showed that as a nation. I believe I heard an interview where you were talking about how the National Guard actually mobilized to help inoculate people. So we've shown that we have the structure and the framework. It's not like we need to create something new, right?
Yeah, that's right. We have a blueprint now. In city after city and state after state, these guarantees, the guarantee of housing, of healthcare, of good work, are moving forward. We have the models. We just have to have the political will to do it.
I want to go back to that framework of building lives with dignity and talk about the idea of the baby bond.
Yes.
It's sort of a trust fund established at birth. You think that would help mitigate wealth gaps?
That's exactly right. We live in a country where the racial wealth gap is astronomical. White families have 8 times the wealth on average of black families in this country. And income really doesn't get at wealth, right? Wealth is significant. And so a baby bond is a trust fund started for children at birth. That as they become an adult, it's like seed capital to take a risk, you know, to buy a home or get a degree or start a business. And it's actually starting to happen. The state of Connecticut has passed them.
Really?
Yes. The state of California, Washington, D.C. I know there's a lot of interest here in Washington State, so I'm hopeful that we'll be next here in Washington.
I know there's a lot of talk about how is that going to be funded and how this, and that's not the conversation we're having now, but it is interesting because I do know that some people think, well, is it possible that these type of guarantees will make people lazy?
You know, I wondered that too. And the more I talk to folks who have economic security, the more I realized that's when you're able to find work that's meaningful, to start a business, to take a risk. And that if you are working 2 jobs or 3 jobs to put food on the table and pay rent, that you have no space in your life for dreaming and for striving. And so what we found is that when we invest in people, we actually unleash the ingenuity and the risk-taking that we know exists.
And not to mention the fact that many folks maybe have no idea about how to manage money on their own. You know, I certainly didn't grow up in a family where we were talking about investing. So it's interesting and it's important if that piece is handled for you. Overall, how do you think we can make the economy serve more people?
I think we do that by investing in, you know, families and communities and individuals, and we have the blueprint for how to do it.
Are there any countries that are doing it right, or at least on the right track? I mean, I know you mentioned some of the other states doing, you know, the baby bond, but like overall, are there countries that you look at and go, they get it?
Yeah, you know, there are a lot of wealthy countries that are on par with the United States, where childcare is free, where healthcare is very low cost, where housing prices are stable and rents can't go up month after month after month. That exists, but what's exciting to me is that it also exists right now in the United States.
Yeah.
Here in Washington, you were the first to pass a long-term care insurance guarantee.
Yeah.
So people pay in a small amount and can pull out money when they need to pay for long-term care. None of us know when we're going to need that.
Yeah.
That is the kind of model that we should see federally.
Yeah.
In the state of Maryland, we are seeing a housing authority start to build housing for middle-income Marylanders where the rents would stay stable every month and the cost wouldn't go up.
Wow.
That is the kind of thing that we should see federally, and we're starting to see it spread.
Housing is key right now for so many people, especially here in Seattle. I know it is so tough. Thank you so much, Natalie, for sharing all of this, for coming in here today to discuss the book. We appreciate you being here.
It is my pleasure.
Awesome. And if you, by the way, want to hear more from Natalie, she is discussing her book, Guarantee, at Town Hall Seattle tonight, Wednesday, May 15th at 7:30. Sure to be an exciting discussion.